You are listening to the Critical Mass Radio Show, Orange County's business talk show, focused on exploring topics of interest to CEOs who are leading middle market companies. With your host, Richard Franzi.
Hello and welcome to Orange County's longest running business talk show. I am your host, Rick Franzi, and we have a fantastic show planned for you today. Why do you ask? Because Cleve Adams, who's the founder and managing partner for Trestles Group Incorporated, is our featured guest. Welcome to the program, Cleve.
Thanks, Rick. It's great to be here. And congratulations on the longest running show in Orange County. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been doing this since 2009 in one form or another. So let's look at you as the entrepreneur, my friend. Can you share your original motivation and maybe the inspiration to start Trestles Group?
Well, Trestles Group started. Well, let me go back just a little bit. So I started a company back in the 90s called WebSense. I don't know if anybody on the show has ever heard of WebSense or not, but they were one of the first cybersecurity companies. And I think the first cybersecurity unicorn ever. We talk about unicorns these days. So starting the company, we had two guys and a dog and a plastic table, right? And then we had a product that we launched and partnered with companies like Cisco and Checkpoint and Microsoft. And then about 3 years later, we did an initial public offering of stock, and the company was worth over $1 billion. So not a bad startup. And since then, the company was purchased by Raytheon for over $2 billion. And now it's owned by private equity. So a great start to a great company, and one of the first cybersecurity unicorns. And I think the first SaaS company as well. So we were a software as a service as people subscribed to our service. And I think in the 90s, that was the first SaaS company out there. And as SaaS before SaaS was even coined the phrase SaaS. So anyway, so the first SaaS company in existence, and if not the first, the second cybersecurity unicorn. So yeah, really early on cybersecurity company. It was very successful.
So how did that lead you to the Trestles Group?
Well, what happened is that when I left WebSense, I was too young to retire. So I was trying to figure out what to do. So basically what I did is I started a company to help other entrepreneurs in the space. If entrepreneurs wanted to start cyber companies or SaaS companies or even artificial intelligence companies, we were doing everything we could to help them. For instance, giving them, introductions into ways to raise money or introductions into executives that could help them, fulfill their plans. Or help being the executives that they hired, from marketing to sales to business development to engineering, having a group of guys on board that could help anything an entrepreneur needed. So that's how Trestles Group got started. It's a funny story how it initially got started. When I left WebSense, I was trying to figure out something to do. Well, when my wife had enough of me and kicked me out of the house, so I went downtown where I live here and rented an office. And in renting that office, I got a phone line and an internet line and the Wall Street Journal. And every morning I'd get up and say, "Bye, honey, I got to go to work." And so in doing that, one day I got a phone call from a friend of mine that said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm reading the Wall Street Journal." And he said, "Well, would you come and help me? I need some help with my company." So that turned into getting referred into another account, which getting referred into another account. The next thing you know, I was helping multiple startup companies be successful. Then I got a call from companies like Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan, the guys that were the biggest investors in WebSense and also the companies that took WebSense public, wanting to know if I could help with their portfolio companies. And that's really how it all got started. And that's led me to be a 6-time CEO and specializing in cybersecurity and artificial intelligence, and hopefully keep that going. And when I'm not CEOing, I'm still helping other entrepreneurs figure it out.
So let's talk about the firm in a little more detail. Today, what are you doing in the Trestles Group, and who are you helping, and what problems are you
So
solving?
I have, so we have a total of 11 clients right now in various stages. A couple of them, we are, helping them raise money, a venture capital firm, funds, through either venture capital or family offices here in the Southern California area. Others, we are helping them with revenue. So let's say that you're a new company and you have a few million in revenue, and the one thing you don't have is Fortune 500 accounts or Global 2000 accounts to add to your resume. So we go out and help introduce them and close those deals as well. So we do business development, we do product development. We have a team of engineers that can help you not only develop your product, but build it. And then we have marketing guys that can help you market it. So it's kind of a full service. Hey, what do you need? Do you need money? Do you need management? Do you need product? Do you need marketing? That type of thing we can help them with.
So you've been in the cybersecurity field for a little bit of time, Cleve. How has it
Yeah,
changed?
just as long as just about anybody that I know. So I've been around since the very beginning when there were just a couple of companies in the space. 1996, 1997 timeframe is when we started the company, and there were only a handful of companies in the cyberspace at that time.
So what's changed as far as the
Oh goodness!
challenges?
The funny thing is that I go around speaking about this. What's changed? So when I was there, when WebSense started, we had Cisco, Checkpoint, Microsoft, WebSense, McAfee, John McAfee, and a company called Symantec. That was about 6 companies. That was about it in cybersecurity. And then obviously in '98 and '99, that grew quite a bit. Well, today in April, I went to the RSA show, which is the big security show in San Francisco every year for security companies, and they had about 1,100 vendors there that were in the cybersecurity space, and those are the ones with booths. So, I think there were 20 or 30,000 people, 1,100 vendors. I mean, the market has grown so much and became so diverse, and it's moving so fast that it's hard to keep up.
You mentioned artificial intelligence, and I wonder as I'm trying to follow it because it's evolving at such a fast pace. It changes like monthly, it feels like. But I'm wondering how AI will either help cybersecurity companies or hurt other companies because the bad guys figure out how to use it.
Right. That's a great question. So to me, it's going to help cybersecurity companies, right?
Good.
Anything you can do to be better at predicting what's going to happen next and projecting what's going to happen next. That's the holy grail. That's what you really want to do. You want to protect the data at all cost. So if you can kind of predict what's happening next and put together analytics and with artificial intelligence, it's going to help you know what's going to happen in the future. Well, that's only going to help cybersecurity. But AI is only going to hurt cybersecurity, right? Because the hackers are smarter than we are, to tell you the truth. They're going to find a way to hack into your system using artificial intelligence and asking you ever so politely, hey, what's your password? Or, how do I get into your network? Or there's going to be a lot of things that if you go to Chat GPT and ask them to change your password, well, they'll come up with paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of what you should do with your password, why you should change it. And then it gets you to change your password. Well, once you change your password, they have you. So it's pretty interesting what's happening today. I think that it's not just a password thing, but it's if they break into your server, if they break into your network or anything they're going to do, I think artificial intelligence is only going to help them. So hackers are going to get smarter. They're going to get more intelligent. They're going to use artificial intelligence to bang away and bang away and bang away where the humans, we couldn't keep that up for every extended period of time. But then you have artificial intelligence injected into our cyber products, which are going to be able to recognize that and going to be able to act on that and hopefully predict what's happening. So it's going to be a fight where no one wins.
Yeah, it really is a fight, isn't it? It's a new element of warfare in many ways, the cybersecurity and cyber protection. People don't
really
maybe
is. It really
appreciate how sophisticated these attacks really are, especially when you involve nation states, not just individual hackers who are looking to make money somehow.
That's right. And the Chinese, and we know, and the Russians and all the other countries that are out there are very good at this. And so they really think that, that they can come out and hack things that we're not protecting. Right. So we really have to be more diligent about protecting the data. Remember, that's all they're after. They're not after you. They're not after me. They're not after the server. They're not after the network. They're after the data. And so if we can find a better way to protect the data, well, that's going to be the way that artificial intelligence is going to help cybersecurity companies by being better at protecting data.
There you go. From your lips.
That's right.
Let's hope that's the case.
So we're having a lot of fun. As you can see, we're having a lot of fun in the area. I was specializing in cyber, and I was hopefully jumping into AI, and now they're kind of merging. So next thing you know, it's going to be a cyber AI, or I even think there are cyber AI companies now. So I'm pretty sure of that. So yeah, I think it's going to merge, and it's going to be one big happy family, right? It's going to be a war to end all wars.
You're multiple CEOs of different companies that you've helped along the way. I'm wondering, from your perspective, what is a transactional CEO? What role do they perform? And
well, I kind of made that up, right? Somebody introduced me one day in New York City at a meeting that I had in the lobby, and they introduced me as a transactional CEO. And so I was thinking about that. I go, well, that makes a lot of sense, because I was hired the last 4 times that I was hired to run a cybersecurity or an AI company has been to sell the company. So the last one was an AI analytics company, which was based in Washington, D.C. And I was brought on by the private equity firm that invested in and owned most of the company, and said, hey, we want you to come on board. All we have is our founder, which is a great guy, and he got us to this level, but we want to get it to the next level. We don't think he has the right stuff. We want to bring you in to help. So basically what happened is I was hired by the private equity firm to come into the company for a transaction, figure out what it's going to take to sell the company, and then let's go sell it. So the first 3 or 4 months, I evaluated the company from every level I could, from sales and marketing to engineering to finance to support and service, all the areas of a company. And when I did that, I found out that, hey, what parts are broken, what parts are not, what parts can I fix, what parts should I leave alone, those types of things. Gave my recommendation to the board. We went forward on fixing the problems. And I use an analogy of a sports car, right? When you have a sports car, you need all 8 cylinders of that sports car running in order for you to win the race. And if you have one of those cylinders fouling out, the plugs are bad, the fuel lines are bad, something, and it's not running right, you're probably not going to win that race. You're probably going to come in last. So you really need to keep your sports car very fine-tuned in order for you to win the race. And that's kind of the same thing with a startup company or any company for that matter. You need every single group and division in that company to run as best as they could, operationally efficient as possible, in order for you to win the race. And that's what a transactional CEO does. He makes sure that everything is working and revenue is increasing, marketing's doing their job, engineering's doing their job, the roadmap of where they're going is clear, and the goal of what they want to do is clear. And then once you have all that in place, then you can hire the bankers and the lawyers and do all the things to find the acquiring company and hopefully close the transaction. So that's what a transactional CEO is.
So that's a good term. I'm glad that we had a chance to define it here on Critical Mass Business Talk Show,
The
because
guy that comes in and figures it out to sell the company, right? And, sometimes companies we all know that sometimes companies come with great CEOs. Look at, Apple and Steve Jobs, and Mark Zuckerberg seems to be a great CEO because Facebook has done so well. And, there are a handful of companies in the tech industry with great CEOs, but most of them aren't.
Hmm.
And so basically what you have to do is come in and be the guy that helps that founder or that CEO get where he wants to go.
Yeah, and that's super valuable, especially if they're getting ready for a sale, the multiple, et cetera, that you can benefit. I'm sure there's a positive, powerful ROI on a transactional CEO, Cleve.
Yeah, you try, Rick, as much as you can, and some of them turn out great, and some of them don't. And so you just you have to. It's a a throw of the dice, and luckily the last few of them I've done have been return on investment for the investors has been really has been good.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you should reach out to Cleve if you have a need.
That's
What
right.
have you found? Can you distill down a few secrets to success for a technology company that wants to end up as a unicorn? Because I feel like many early stage technology companies, that's part of their business plan, or at least in their wish
Well,
list.
definitely a part of their wish list, right?
Yeah.
So I have found out after doing this for 30 years that if you focus on revenue and the attainment of revenue,
Hmm.
then that's really where you want to go. So if you think about it, if you're the best company in the world, your product is great, your market is great, your management's great, but if your sales are not growing and your sales are flat, well, you have a problem. But if you're the worst company in the world with the worst product in the worst market and your sales are going through the roof, who cares? So I found out a long time ago that if you focus on revenue, then everything else has to fix itself, because if you focus on revenue, the product has to work and the market has to be growing and the management team has to be working together, because engineering's got to be talking to finance, that has to be working with marketing, that has to be working with sales, and everything kind of gels. And so if you focus on revenue, then everything else has to work as well, or the revenue's not going to grow. So then focusing on revenue really opens up the problems in the company. Because if you have a deal and you can't close it because engineering is not ready with the product, well, then engineering is the problem. If you have a deal and you can't close it because your support and your customer success team can't get it to run and can't get it up and running, well, then you've got a problem. And then if your marketing team doesn't get you enough leads and you can't don't have enough leads to close enough deals, well, then you've got to fix marketing. So you can see how it all kind of comes back to, if I can achieve the revenue goal, then everything else has to work.
And having that incremental revenue gives you the money to invest in the areas where they're maybe broken or need a little bit more attention too. So, yeah.
Hey, sales cures all ills in business, right? And it's great. And there are a lot of companies out there with not the best products on the market that do great,
right.
because their sales and marketing are excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot of technology out there that never made it because it wasn't sold or marketed properly.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that it really has a lot to do with revenue.
Yeah, momentum is a beautiful thing in business, and if you have it, keeping it is really valuable. And I can see how you would provide value in that area. So let's look to tomorrow, Cleve. You're not done yet. That's the next? What do you see for the future? What are you going to be doing when you come back on the program at some point?
Well, I'm really interested. So I've done in 3 different markets lately. I've done cybersecurity. Obviously, we've talked about that. I've done artificial intelligence. We've talked about that. The last company I sold was an AI-based ESG company where they were taking data from buildings, using artificial intelligence to parse through that data and make recommendations on how you can lower your carbon footprint or how you can lower your energy consumption. I think that's a good market too. There's a lot of investing going into that market. So it's using artificial intelligence to create, it's called climate tech, I think it's called these days. So I think that area, prop tech or climate tech, I think that's going to grow quite a bit in the future as well. So cyber, artificial intelligence, and climate tech, something you can use technology to decrease your carbon footprint and reduce your energy costs. I think that's going to be an interesting play as well. So that's what I'm doing in the future. Right now, I'm real busy at Trestles Group, helping other companies, get to their goals. Also out looking for a great interim or fractional or full-time CEO gig where I can help the company do what it needs to do for an exit. So that seems to be a very good market for me. And so that's the kind of thing I'm looking at: artificial intelligence, cyber, using AI and carbon footprints, climate tech stuff, and hopefully finding companies out there that need an adult to come in and help with their portfolio company.
Maybe they need a transactional CEO, Cleve.
Maybe they do, Rick, and maybe they do. And hopefully with the show they'll find one.
That's part of the reason why we do it, is to raise awareness for the guest. If someone would like to reach out to you and connect with you, find out more about the Trestles Group, what should they do?
It's pretty simple. It's my name, Cleve, Cleve, at TrestlesGroup.com. I think that's the easiest way. Send me an email, and I'll send over my contact information, like my cell phone and so on, and we can get together and chat. I'm always open to talking about opportunities with people. I think I'm not one to pass up a good opportunity. I love the opportunity to help others fulfill their dreams as well.
Well, I appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time today to share your story and talk about your company. Thank you. Thank
you so much, Rick, and you have a great day.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the audience. You've been a part of Orange County's longest running business talk show. Cleve's interview today joins our catalog of over 1,400 interviews with Orange County entrepreneurs and business owners that we've done over the years. If you're an Orange County entrepreneur and you have a story to tell and you'd like to share it here on Critical Mass Business Talk Show, then reach out to me. I'm Rick, R-I-C, Franzi, F-R-A-N-Z-I on LinkedIn. Coincidentally, that's also my website, rickfranzi.com. And we can have a conversation and possibly schedule you for a future appearance on our program. And until the next time we all have a chance to be together, I hope all of your business decisions will move your company in a positive direction.